Hello, I hope everyone's doing well. Today we're going to talk about the 7 phases of a personal injury claim. The first and most important and typically the longest is going to be treatment. If you're injured due to a personal injury, you need to go to the doctor. You need to tell the doctor your symptoms. You need to follow the doctor's plan for treatment. You want to do everything you can to avoid any kind of gap in treatment. You want to thoroughly communicate with your doctor your aches, your pains, how your life has been affected by the injury. And again, this is typically the longest phase of the personal injury claim, but also I would argue the most important. If you're in a car wreck, the second phase is going to be your property damage phase, and you'll typically take care of this while you're treating. Once you get a doctor, the next most important thing is going to be for you to get that property damage resolved. You want to communicate on a regular basis with the property damage adjuster. If you leave a message on one day and they don't call you back, call back the next day. Leave another message. Get the phone number and email for a supervisor. If you have to leave a message for the supervisor, do that. Email both the adjuster and the supervisor. You're going to have very consistent follow-up to get your property damage claim resolved. Also, if you're in a rental vehicle, you want to make sure and stay in contact with the insurance company and the rental company to make sure that you don't have any surprise charges in the end that have to come out of your pocket. The third phase of a personal injury claim is going to be the liability investigation. This is where you'll gather evidence and provide evidence to the adjuster to prove that it wasn't your fault. Evidence like this police report or photographs of the property damage or witness statements. Again, you're going to want to consistently follow up with the adjuster. They do have a reasonable amount of time to conduct their investigation, but you also have the right to do everything you can to help them gather the information they need so that they can make that determination on a timely basis and you can get your property damage resolved and you don't have to be concerned while you're treating that liability has not been accepted. So once you complete your treatment, the fourth phase of a personal injury claim is going to be to gather your evidence, your medical evidence, and your lost wages. This is a medical bill, your medical records, documentation of lost wages, so that you can present that information to the adjuster for phase 4, which is called a demand. And I have this little army guy here just to know that you want to be strong when you make your demand. This is your time to let the adjuster know every single way that your life has been affected by their negligent insured. So be strong when you make that demand. After the demand, you have what's called negotiations. And you might be thinking, what does basketball have to do with negotiations? Well, I like to think of it as kind of a back and forth process. Whose ball is the court in? You make a demand, the adjuster makes an offer, it goes back and forth. And different adjusters have different ways that they handle negotiations. So rarely, but on occasion, I've had adjusters come to me and say, listen, Mary, this is all I've got. I'm making my top offer. I don't want to go through this process. Let's be done. What happens more often, though, is it's a back and forth process. You make your demand. The adjuster makes an offer. They go back and forth. They come to a top. You say you can't do that. They go back to get more authority if they can. Then there's another top. Ideally, what you come to is an unhappy medium, and I say that because neither side's going to be happy, because the adjuster's goal is to pay as little as possible, and the injured party's goal is to get as much as possible, since the settlement is really the only remedy that they have available. And speaking of settlement, that's going to be phase number 7. Either settlement, which yay, you're the winner, or if the adjuster does not make an acceptable offer, your other option would be to file suit. So either settlement or litigation. So again, those are the 7 phases of a personal injury claim. Take care of yourselves and be safe. Thank you. Bye-bye.